We thought season 3 was the year we finally get answers. Tabitha escaped, Fatima was pregnant with a miracle, and we finally learned the truth about reincarnation. It felt like progress. But what if that progress was the point? What if every single breakthrough was a carefully laid trap designed by the man in yellow to maximize our hope, just so it could be crushed? From season 3 was not the story we thought it was. They turned the audience into another character in the town, one whose hope is being farmed for the entity's amusement, and it all comes on the cruelest twist of the finale. The first and most immoral lie of season 3 was the promise of a breakthrough. At the end of season 2, From did the unthinkable. It let someone escape, and Tabitha's journey paid off, and for the first time, we had a character in the outside world. This was supposed to be the game changer. Their narrative contract was obvious. Tabitha would be the bridge. She would get help, find answers, and the story would finally expand beyond the town's borders. The marketing for season 3 even leading to this, teasing scenes of her in a church, hinting at a secondary storyline that would finally shed light on the town's nature. But what did we actually get? We got a reset. Tabitha escaped and lasted for only 2 episodes. In that time, she learned nothing. She helped no one, and she offers zero clarity. In a meta-commentary that felt almost like the writers mocking the audience expectations, Tabitha herself says that she let everyone down by not getting answers, including us. Her grand escape was reduced to a pointless detour, a narrative fake-out that served only to get her, Henry, Victor's father, and Acosta into the town. The show holds the single biggest answer, that escape is possible, only to immediately prove how meaningless that possibility is. And this pattern of bait and switch was not an isolated incident. The writers did the exact same thing with Fatima's pregnancy. In a series defined by death, the idea of new life was a powerful miracle. It was a major emotional anchor for the characters and the audience, a sign that hope could still be alive. The show invested significant screen time into the storyline, making us care deeply about this impossible baby and a reason why. And then, with almost clinical cruelty, it was revealed to be a lie. I mean, we knew this by episode 5 and 4. But it was in episode 6 where the ultrasound was one of the saddest moments in the series. It was not just a plot twist, it was a deliberate manipulation of hope. The show took the deepest desire of a beloved character, and by extension the audience emotional investment, and turned it into a cheap, heartbreaking fake-out with no immediate payoff. We didn't know what was happening to Fatima's baby. Do not trust hope in this town. This ended up being the reincarnation of Smiley, so that's going to be fun in season 4. By setting up monumental, game-changing events only to immediately resolve them, season 3 repeatedly pulled the rug out from under its audience, making it impossible to trust any sense of progress, and leaving us feeling that emotional investment had been taken advantage of for the sake of temporary shock. Beyond the bait-and-switch plot twist, season 3 was covered by a growing sense of inconsistency, making us feel like the very rules of the world were being changed. For example, early in the series, the monsters were presented as a simple, terrifying predators. The rule was clear: they kill any human they can catch. No one was safe, including Megan in season 1. But by season 3, their behavior shifted. Suddenly, they're leaving key characters like Boyd and Randall alive, just alive, choosing instead to engage in their games. Was this our evolution, suggesting the creatures prey on specific emotional states, or was it just a convenient plot device to keep main characters alive in situations where they should have been dead? The show never clarifies. This left us debating whether they were witnessing a brilliant clue or a lazy retcon. When the rules of the world feel like they bend to serve the plot, it breaks the audience trust in the moment. This sense of inconsistency was not just limited to the monster, it affected the character's own logic. Some characters' behavior felt forced and unnatural, designed only to preserve mystery at the expense of common sense. And the most glaring example is Tabitha, even Boyd. They know that the cave are where the monsters sleep during the day, arguably the single most important tactical discovery in the history of the town. I mean, it's a game changer, just blow it up and see what happens. Yet this has not been told to anyone, including Tabitha upon her return. For weeks, everyone is holding this information. This is life or death information from the very people fighting for survival. There's no justification given, no concussion, no memory loss, no fear of being disbelieved. It's a lapse in character logic so profound that it feels like the writers are making their characters acting this way to keep a secret from the audience. When the characters act against their own established logic and survival instincts, it feels less like storytelling and more like the writers are moving puppets on a string. It creates a feeling of deception, as if the show is willing to mislead us, not just the audience, but his own characters, simply to keep his cards hitting a little longer. Perhaps the most frustrating lie of Season 3 is not one told within the story, but one told by the creators themselves. Early on, the producers, and many of whom were lost, went out of their way to confirm a careful audience. They promised they had learned from lost mistakes. They said that From was thoroughly mapped, that each season will be a self-contained chapter with its own question and its own answers. Director Jack Bender even claimed the map is out there. These statements were not just interviews. They were a promise to the audience that this journey would not be an endless, frustrating maze. They gave fans the confidence to invest in the mystery, trusting there was a master plan. By the end of Season 3, however, that promise feels in question. Not only did the season fail to resolve its own major questions, it left a pile of unresolved storylines from previous seasons. The true nature of Sarah's voices, unexplained. The absurd motel sign that the show itself now jokes about. Instead of answers, Season 3 gave us more complexity. We now have reincarnation loops, fake pregnancies, a story walker with Julie, and a game master in a yellow suit. Every time that show offers a hint of explanation, it moves away to even bigger questions and mysteries. Now it's smiling in Season 4. This pattern has led many of fans to fear the show is moving the goalposts, lying about its endgame by hiding the original premise under a mountain of new secrets. The showrunners talk of each season being a contained arc feels particularly disingenuous, feels like a trap. I mean, Season 3 ended on the biggest cliffhanger yet, hardly the contained chapter they once described. While it's true the show has given us clues and character growth, the central mysteries, what the creatures are, why the town exists, remain completely unanswered. After 3 entire seasons, for many, the reality doesn't match the writer's words. The feeling of betrayal comes from investing in a show based on the promise, only to find yourself deeper in a maze with no end in sight. Now, whether you call Season 3 a thrilling slow burn or a frustrating lie, comes down to your own preference. However, this season divide us. On one side, you have the faithful family who embrace the deepening mystery and trust in the writer's journey. And hey, I'm one of those. On the other hand, you have the growing fans who are frustrated, who feel betrayed by a season that they believe were promised and under-delivered on multiple arenas. But for those who feel betrayed, the show has yet to prove that all the twists and turns are leading somewhere worthwhile. For those still fully invested, the slow reveal remains a central mystery and appeal, but the trust that From will eventually pay off has been undeniably moved around. So my expectation for Season 4 is that it must begin to deliver on some of these long-awaited answers and restore faith by proving that the writer's map is real and not just a blank page. If it succeeds, it may become a cult classic, but if it continues to move us along, it dangers itself, a show that lost its way and its audience trust in a maze of its own making.